Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Army Black Knights head women's soccer coach, Coach Tracy Chao. How are you doing today?
Good, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in your college coaching career?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is when you're a student athlete and you go through all the experiences yourself. And I'll be honest, like as a student athlete, it's hard to think past the next day as you're just living in the moment and getting through school and being an athlete and just life and being a college kid. And after graduating, just stuck into coaching. But I think a lot of it is looking back and being able to share my experiences, be able to give back, and just something that I knew was just a part of my blood and just an opportunity to give back to the game and give back to future student athletes and cadet athletes that we get to work with and provide them with an awesome experience. And we're competitive, right? So that competitive gene too is we also want to keep that fuel of winning and striving for championships and things like that. So but it's just awesome to give back. And again, I think give it to credit to all my coaches that I've had growing up to be able to give me the opportunity to, share the same passion that they did when I was a player.
What was it like going to Wake Forest and playing soccer for Wake Forest?
Yeah, it was an awesome privilege. Coach Tony is still the head coach there. And then at the time, the assistants were Coach Kelly Cagle and Skip Thorpe. I mean, they were just awesome. The opportunity they gave me to be able to play on the team was awesome and be a part of it. I knew when I went on my official visit, that I just immediately connected with the team. Being a part and being able to compete in the ACC was tremendous. I mean, it's just one of the best conferences in women's soccer, and having the opportunity to step on the field at that level and be able to compete was just unbelievable. So a dream come true. And then obviously academics too. I mean, it's hard to and that's a little bit similar here. It's, you get all of it, the holistic, scope of being in a great academic institution as well as a high athletic institution as well and program.
What was it like, obviously, playing in the ACC and getting to play teams like Carolina, Duke, and NC State each week?
Yeah, I mean, growing up a Raleigh kid, I go to all the Carolina games and state games. I mean, they're right in your backyard, so why wouldn't you? And watching, the Mia Hams, watching all these players from the 99ers compete that were in the ACC was just unbelievable. And to be honest, that was a dream as a kid. Everybody's little girl's dream was to be the next Mia Hamm and play at Carolina. And as I got older, I just realized, man, I want to be a team that has a chance to beat, a team that's been at the forefront of women's soccer. I mean, Coach Anson Dorrance is, one of the winningest coaches in women's soccer and in sports in general. So had an opportunity to do that my sophomore year, and that was unbelievable. It's a memory that myself and my teammates, we still reminisce about to this day. So, it's just, that was a goal, and to be able to have an opportunity to compete and play and do that. So, but yeah, it's just fun. I mean, anywhere you go, it's just fun to compete against teams that are going to test you and challenge you. And the ACC is certainly going to do that as a player, as a person, and everything.
What was that feeling like when you got to put on that Wake Forest jersey?
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what, when you have, being a Division I or any just collegiate athlete, not even Division I, just that was just my experience. But I mean, being able to be a collegiate athlete at any level, Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, JUCO, when you, even for these high school kids, an opportunity to put on and represent your school and your institution, it's just really awesome. It's just it's just a massive privilege to be able to play a sport that you love and just compete. So compete with friends and teammates that are all achieving and striving to have the same goals. So no matter what, I would just say, like, gosh, I've been just really privileged to be able to put on a lot of jerseys, and whether that was like club jerseys, high school jerseys, college jerseys, even like semi-pro jerseys, things like that. It's just you put it on and it's like game time. You just get in that game mode, and it's just all the like emotions, anxiety, thrills, all that stuff it's just really cool.
How was that feeling like when you played in the Sweet 16 in 99?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, for me, like, my freshman year wasn't the best year. So, but being a part of it, being able to like support my teammates, to be able to like just have that environment to be there was unbelievable. It it was hard, it was great because we just had a massive, a massive senior class that was just a great group of women leaders, and our team was just super connected. So, being a freshman and being able to have the opportunity to immediately experience a Sweet 16 was awesome, and just being able to be a part of that. So, yeah, no, it's just, certainly you want to go as far as you can to compete for national championships, and getting into the Sweet 16 was an unbelievable experience for not only me, but for the team, and just Wake in general.
Of course, after your college time at Wake Forest, what was it like getting into college coaching and getting your first job at North Colorado?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you just kind of like, take an opportunity where you can. Getting into college coaching is not the easiest, and certainly, as you can see, staying in college athletics is tough. It's not just a career, it's a lifestyle, and so the demand is something that is unlike anywhere else. But for me, like the opportunity to be able to get my first full-time assistant coaching job, I won't tell you the pay because it was literally, you would look at it and be like, that's probably, you were just working as essentially a volunteer. But, it was one of those things where any opportunity just to be able to get in it and continue to do what I love, and find a passion as a career, and do that. So, yeah, it was great. Tim Barrera just took me under his wing, and still there to this day, and has been able to, be a good friend of mine and a mentor and peer. So, yeah, just really grateful for the chance that he gave me and allowed me to also just be myself and feel comfortable, and taught me, so many things about just what it's like to be a coach, and just the rhythm and the expectation, and something that certainly set a really awesome foundation for me as I now go into my 18th year of coaching.
What was it like, obviously, getting into club coaching?
Yeah, I think as an assistant at a college, when you're an assistant, club coaching and teams that you can be a quote unquote head coach and have the ability to run every aspect of it is just an awesome opportunity. I love kids, that you coach probably mostly in the U12, age group when I did club. And, again, like it was an opportunity for me as a young coach, and to be able to implement my own sessions, my own thought process, have to make sure I was organized, able to, vocalize and put down, what my expectations were on a group of young women. And so I think just club coaching in general, for those that are in college coaching that are assistants, has an opportunity to just make that, like, to have ownership, and just really fun to like kick around with young kids too. It switches your brain as well from 18 to 21, 22-year-olds to like 11-year-olds, which is certainly, as we know, a different ball game. But no, it was fun. So just good experience.
What was it like, obviously, going to Colorado to become the assistant coach?
Yeah, I just, felt like a natural transition. Had known Bill Hempen. So small world, Bill Hempen was the head coach at Duke when I was a player at Wake. So we actually played against each other for 2 seasons. He left, I believe, after my sophomore year, and then took over the program at CU, and full circle, right? Like, so you come back and had an opportunity to know him. And at the time, Paul was his other assistant, and Allie, who was the other assistant, that was one of my teammates. So we were really close, a really close knit group in Colorado as coaches. And so Bill is obviously like one of the most successful coaches, started the Duke program, built that one from nothing to something, went out to CU, built that into a top 25 program, and just an opportunity to step into, at the time it was the Big 12, and then we transitioned to the Pac-12. Was just really cool to be a part of too. So it was just a fun experience. And again, like, you just take another stepping stone of experience, no matter what the level is. To be honest, it was just another opportunity to have an experience with somebody, going from Tim to Bill, and just 2 unbelievable soccer minds. And and then mostly just amazing people, mentors and friends and peers.
What was that like, obviously, going to the College of Charleston to become the assistant coach, but then shortly after that become the associate head coach for the first time?
Yeah, no, I think there was a nice little transition, and it was Christian Michener, who's the head coach of College Charleston, still there. It was his first head coaching position and job. So being able to go from CU and Northern Colorado to being now an opportunity to have somebody that was paralleling almost my career and being able to have him entrust me with so much of just more of the daily aspects of a program, and then him being able to trust me and elevating me to associate head coach was an extreme honor, that he felt that way and was able to see myself and my growth in as a coach and within his staff and then within the program. So again, it's just another awesome opportunity that just allowed me to have a different experience, going from, again, like 3 vastly different conferences, different coaching personalities, but all like number one and first and foremost, they're just super, just amazing people. And still to this day, all 3 of them are good friends. And I think that's what's the most meaningful part of soccer and coaching is you build these relationships with your coaches around you and your groups and your community. And it's just really cool. So yeah, no, it was great. And which then it led me to, being able to take that next step.
What's that like, obviously taking that next step and becoming a head coach for the first time in your coaching career, going to Metropolitan State of Delaware?
Yeah, of Denver. Yeah. So yeah, no, it was good. It was a dream of mine and has been a dream of mine. And going to, MSU Denver, it was a D2 program, but they've won 2 national championships. It's one of the best D2 programs in the nation. And again, coaching is coaching. You have 18 to 21-year-olds that you're still impacting their lives. So again, it's something that for me was an awesome opportunity. And also I knew that it was going to be a different challenge because resources and personnel was going to be just are vastly different in different programs, and D1 to D2 especially. I had a part-time assistant for my first 2-3 years essentially, and so it was just me operating with a part-time and a volunteer. And it forced me to make sure that I was prepared to understand how to fundraise. You had to wear a lot of hats as a fundraiser, as a coach, as a recruiter, as an assistant, as a head at sometimes, as academics, leading study hall, as everything. So, it's just an opportunity that allowed me to wear those different hats, and then also within the department and be part of something that was a unique community and a fun one, and just the people there. And Dr. Anthony Grant, who's now the athletic director at MIT, gave me that opportunity, and just something that I will always, hold dear, from allowing me to get my toes wet and things, and as a head coach.
What was that transition like from going from the D1 level to going to a military academy on the D1 level when you got the job at Army?
Yeah. I think I'm a little bit like in awe about all the support, and I think West Point in general is just vastly different than any other institution, Division One, being a service academy. But the resources, because no matter whether you're a cadet or a cadet athlete, the support and the people around you are here. That's, everybody talks about that. They talk about the people. So I think, obviously being able to focus more on the coaching side and, less on the fundraising and all that, had to do a little bit more of. And I've got 2 full-time assistants, which is fantastic. So not only collaboration and being able to have great perspectives in a staff, but also outside of that. We have, our head officer representative, we have ORs, we have, there's just a performance psychologist we have that is just designated for us. And, she works with like 3 other teams. And it's just, there's a lot of different areas outside of just coaching. But at the end of the day, the coaching, the philosophies, my values, my personal values, the values I want to instill in the program, the competitiveness that I have, the drive, it's still there. And the programmatic stuff, the soccer side, the principles of play, those have all held true from the beginning of, what I view and the experiences that I've had. So from a coaching standpoint, that's the fun part. And that's the part that we'll be able to implement and carry on and can be consistent in our message and and throughout that, but at the same time, it's the learning, it's the understanding, no matter where you are, you have to understand what they're going through as student athletes or cadet athletes and who they are, how are you going to motivate them, and then also what is everything like outside of the soccer walls that you have to be able to really dive into as well.
What was it like, obviously, coming to West Point and getting the job? And what are some of the cultures that you've built for West Point?
Yeah, I mean, it's just truly an honor. We talk about being coaches and beyond coaches, like there's a development of people and future leaders. We want to, again, no matter where you are, every coach, has these players for 4 years and they have to go on and be something more, whether it's a pro player, a doctor, a dentist, a teacher, anything, and so it is developing them as young women and future leaders. And what not better place to be able to have the opportunity to do that at West Point, which is, obviously that's their whole mission, is developing leaders of character, future leaders of our country, whether as an officer and in their arena, in their field of study and future and what they're going to continue aspiring doing.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've built for Army West Point?
Really, we're for us, it's a relationship based culture. It's the communication, it's us being a family, the going through the highs and the lows, being honest, doing things with integrity and excellence. So, for me, like we have set our team values as, agape, Ubuntu, and Invictus. And agape is unconditional love. Ubuntu is I am because we are, and Invictus obviously is just striving for excellence and being the best. And that's something that we want to continue honing into our team as individuals, as a collective group of women, is things that we do on and off the field. And for me, it's it's all about the people. The X's and O's that you put on a board don't have bad days. They don't have exams. They don't have T week. They don't have fair weeks here. They don't have military duties, so the X's and O's you can scribble on a board and make them move whatever way you want. And they don't like have opinions and questions but when you put our people out onto those fields and in those places, then you have to have that greater understanding of who they are, how they operate, where their strengths are, where we're going to be the most successful. And that's where the culture is, in what you value as your team values and your team goals, and understanding that we all are on the same page of how we want to pursue them. And, again, we want to be completely honest, transparent. We want to do it with great integrity, and we want to excel and be excellent in every aspect.
What are some of your coaching accomplishments so far at Army?
Oh, Brandon, it's only been like a year. And so, obviously last spring I jumped in and we had that weird COVID year. So we didn't have a fall, but I got to see, to operate and coach for most of the spring last year. And, give credit to the seniors, the firsties last year, because I joined and they had the team as leaders on the field ready to roll. They had, unfortunately, we were 4-1. We had the highest winning percentage, and the Patriot League, said we're not bending the rules for women's soccer. And another story for another time with how they, we had the highest winning percentage of the spring of any team in the North and South Division, and didn't get forward. But so I think that was, those moments were pretty cool to see in terms of how much the team had already come together when they were without a head coach. There was an assistant in place, and she was great and fantastic in keeping the team together and training and ready to roll. But at the end of the day, there's a big question mark of who's coming in, how is this person going to operate. So that was a huge moment, I think, for just me to see, and had little to do with me, nothing to do with me, to be honest. And then this fall, we did something that we wanted to do, was get into the Patriot League Conference tournament and get a win. And, obviously we want to win a Patriot League championship, but being able to be the 6th seed and go to Loyola as a 3 seed that's hosting and beat them on their home field is a tremendous feat for us. And then being able to then go to Boston, University and play them on their home field and play them, gosh, to probably it was a fantastic game and one that could have gone either way and get to the semis. And, unfortunately, that's when our time ended this fall. But that's something that was really cool for us. And then for everywhere across the country, this is the first spring that any player across the country has ever had, because most freshmen and sophomores had COVID and then had the weird last year season of fall and spring. So this is the first spring. And I would say probably this was a really big monumental moment for us to be able to really hone in on our culture, our principles of play, just really looking at us as a team, not having to worry about any other opponents, identifying our strengths, how we want to continue to operate, how are we going to be successful starting from the individual level all the way to the team level, and pushing them in that way. And then also a time that we were able to do a lot of team building stuff. Each class cooked dinner for the team. We did our Black Night games. So it was just a fun set of when we did 15 competitions and had a winner at the end, and everything from soccer to non-soccer related activities, so it was you talk about the culture piece, and I felt like this was a really unbelievable spring for us as a team, as a staff, to be able to see rewards beyond just what we already achieved in the fall. So it's exciting to see where that's going to come from and come to as we enter into the next fall.
Who are some of the teams that you face each week in your conference?
Yeah, so I mean, we've got obviously the Patriot League. I mean, there's 10 teams, and we have an opportunity to face off against Bucknell. Won the conference last year, and they're going to continue to be strong. And you got our rival Service Academy with Navy at home, which will be awesome. And then you got the BUs and Colgates, who are historically going to be competitive. So there's a lot of new coaches and new faces. I think that American, Colgate, myself, Holy Cross, and now BU, now you're looking at almost 50% of the conference of coaches are going to be new. So it's going to be an interesting year, I think, with some coaches that are now getting into their year 2, year 3 seasons and just really starting their stride. In our non-conference, we're going to open up with UConn. We've got an exhibition match against Syracuse, but then we'll open up with UConn and Fairleigh Dickinson. And then we're going to go out to Colorado and play our other Service Academy rival, Air Force, as well as Colorado College, who's, again, always been one of the top teams in their conference. And then we're going to turn around and go to Auburn and Samford, which both of those are NCAA teams. Samford is in Birmingham, and Auburn, and obviously Auburn, Alabama. And so just opportunities for us to put ourselves against really fantastic opponents in different areas of the country, and come back and have Wagner, and then at Boston College, which is another ACC team that's going to be a great test, in Iona before we get into our conference play. So yeah, so I think we've got a really, really fun fall schedule for us this year.
What's it going to feel like to obviously get to play those teams like Stanford, UCLA, Wake Forest, and obviously those ACC teams?
Yeah, so we'll play Boston College will be the only ACC team this year. And then we'll go back to my alma mater in 23 and open up there, which would be fun. So again, I think no matter what, and we were out in San Diego and San Diego State, being an athlete, one of the best experiences that I had, and I think for us, is being able to take our team to other parts of the country and experience other opponents. Those are always the biggest moments of team, togetherness and travel, and also just like being able to step on a field and see what it's like against somebody that you haven't always played, and play somebody different. And that's the beautiful game. It's just, there's so many amazing teams and programs and coaches, and for us to be able to experience as many of those as we can in different areas of the country and see different areas of the country and campuses is really cool.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes and even candidates looking to come to Army?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, obviously there's an admissions that's a little bit longer than most. So things that they can go ahead and, start to see, okay, do I fit within the admissions profile of West Point? Obviously West Point's academics is one of the top in the nation. And so having the ability to say, hey, this is what I'm on the right track academically. And then obviously I think for any coach in the country, soccer wise, everybody's got their own perspective on players and how they want to play and what they're looking for. And so, for any possible recruit, you have to find what environment and play style of play, where you feel like you might mesh best with the team and with the coaches, like all those things. You have to make sure it fits in with who these individual possibilities are. So, for us, we're looking at a big, large number, but it's really up to the prospective player to be able to say, hey, this is the region I want to go to, academic profile, culture, team, level. There's a place to play for everybody. If you want to really play, there's Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, junior college, all great environments and great people and coaches that can fit with whatever they're looking for. But it's just kind of a matter of what the recruit's looking for. And hopefully as we as coaches identify them and it starts to work together, then we found a great pair and a match, and then it works out in the long run.
Was it like obviously to recruit on a national level, and then what is the official visit look like for those prospective student athletes coming to Army?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I think West Point's got a name that extends far from just New York, right? And so it's all over the country. Everybody, West Point is just this, it's an entity and a name that people are like, oh wow, like that is wow. Like, I mean, even for me, I'm not a West Point grad, but everybody knows of West Point. And so, yeah, I mean, a visit, I think anywhere there's NCAA rules, you have 48 hours to be able to show them, what you're all about and get to know the team and the coaches and just the place a bit more. So that's really what they do. But yeah, I mean, I think like recruiting nationally for West Point, the name itself, like it speaks for itself. And then it's just a matter of exposing who we are as coaches and exposing more to what West Point really is like on the inside of the walls.
Was it like obviously seeing them get to try on their Army West Point jerseys on the official visit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool. I think it's more fun for the kids. So, I think it's just something that they get to do, and you look at it everywhere, and a lot more people have maybe a lot more resources to do fancy, flashy, like, football has the little turntable that you see is super popular and music and everybody's dancing and stuff. So we're not quite there yet. I don't know, maybe football will let us borrow their little turntable and all their strobe lights and music. But for us, it's just, I think, more so cool for the kids to be able to like see like, this is my number, this is my jersey.
What advice would you give those prospective student athletes that are looking to go play college soccer?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think just going back, like you got to make sure there's no perfect place, but you just got to find what best fits what you're looking for. And, not just for 4 years, but for your life and your future. I mean, it's hard to think about that and see that as a 16, 17-year-old. But, when you're looking at it at 4 years is going to fly by, and is this place going to set me up for success and who I want to be as a person, as a player, as again, future, whatever they want to major in and be in their occupation. So I think it's just, you got to find what's best fit for them and know that, make that decision. And if things are great, they're great. If they're not, you still know that you chose the right place because of all the other things it checks off. Because again, there'll be good times, hard times, and everything in between. And you just want to, not choose it just because of one thing. So if that one thing goes bad, everything implodes. There's a lot of things that you want to be able to say, hey, this, no matter what, I love it no matter what, whether soccer is good or bad, whether school is hard or tough, whether, the people, the environment, all that.
What advice would you give those college soccer players looking to go professionally, whether it's the NWSL, overseas, or even the U.S. women's national route?
Yeah, I mean, I think like anybody, like, you gotta like just trust your own process. And if it happens, like you have opportunity and somebody, gives you an opportunity, then that's great, and continue to, work, and coaches will know and be able to help out and support and do as much as they can on that end. But at the end of the day, like, have great goals and great ambitions, but understand what the process it is, and don't get too far ahead of yourself, because it's one step at a time, and you got to just enjoy that moment. And if you get caught up in the final, or this just one moment, you get lost in the experience and the process, and you don't want to miss that, because it's pretty cool.
What advice would you give future head coaches looking to go into college soccer?
Yeah, just understand, I think it's definitely something that you got to want, you got to want to be able to look at yourself and say, hey, I got to be the decision maker. You're sort of just the suggester as an assistant, and to be able to be the decision maker and make hard decisions, but be open and honest and transparent, be yourself. And that, and with your staff, and you got to find the right people around you. I think that's the one thing is, myself and my staff, we spend a lot of time together, and it's got to fit, it's got to be the right people that are in your corner. They've got to be trustworthy, mature, and hardworking, because, it's, again, this isn't just a career, it's a lifestyle, and you got to want, people that can grind it out, and yourself, and you got to set the example for that too. So if you're not willing to do it, then more likely your players aren't going to do it, your staff's not going to do it. And so, but it's awesome. I think, especially from a female perspective, like, we need more women coaches that have the opportunity to give back to the game and know what it's like to be in these student athletes and cadet athletes' shoes. And so that's a great experience to be able to continue like carrying and passing along. So yeah, I mean, it's just keep putting yourself out there, and you're going to get, trust me, I got told no. And then I thought that, oh, so heartbreaking that I was told no to a head coaching job. And then all of a sudden I got told yes, and things have been able to work out. So there's a path and there's a process, and, just keep working at it.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with the Army West Point?
Yeah, so Army, our women's soccer page is Army WP_W soccer. And then, and then they can just find at Tracy Chao 1, I think, is my Twitter. So we try and put as much information out there as possible, and give us a follow and follow our program.
Thank you again, Coach Tracy Chao, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at Army West Point.
Thanks, Brandon.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Tracy Chao, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at Army West Point.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.